Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at this 2024 Lexus LX600, and this is the ultra luxury trim, meaning it is the top level of the trim levels, and the price for this is about $130,000. It's actually about $133,000. So what we're gonna do in this video is take this for a drive, because it drives like an old school SUV, body on frame that we have here as well. So let's pop the hood and see what we have powering this beast. Instead of the old V8, we now have a twin turbo V6 that puts out more horsepower. So we have 409 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, connected to a 10-speed automatic transmission. It pulls really well, even though it weighs close to 6,000 pounds, this car. 0 to 60 is done in about 6.5 seconds. Wait, some people have tested it down to 5.8, which is not bad at all. Of course, you do have four-wheel drive with this. I want to show you something really cool in the interior before we take this for a drive. This has the captain's chairs in the back seat, meaning you can recline this you can push this entire seat forward, recline the back seat back, and you can just lounge back here with your foot rest here as well. You do have a 7-inch screen for the settings for the back seat. You also have a wireless charger here, different separate climate controls for both areas, both the passengers back here. So 4-zone climate settings in this car overall. And with that said, let's we can also check out the trunk, I guess, just to show you. There's really nothing special going on here in the back, but it is power assisted, obviously, for $130,000. Nothing crazy going on underneath. I would expect some more storage here, but we don't get that in this case. Instead, we have some other stuff going on. We have a house outlet here and a separated that you can drag out if you want to do that, and that's pretty much it for the trunk. Now let's get to the driving portion. I love this interior, by the way. I do think this is beautiful. This color, this exterior green color that we have, in combination with this light orange, brown, not sure what to call this, but I do think it looks good. And this has a, listen to this. It's like you're closing a vault of some sort when you jump into this. Turn the hazards off. So in here we do have a 7-inch gauge cluster, a 12.3-inch infotainment screen, and we also have a 7-inch helper display, as they call it, and it has some cool features. This is really not a necessary screen to have in here, but if you want to, for example, change the climate settings here, you can do that in the software, or thankfully we still have physical buttons for that down here as well. So it's a pretty cool additional little screen that has some random information. The G meter. You also have, for example, these gauges here, shows you how hard you're pressing the brake or the gas. Let's talk more about this interior as we take this for a drive. I'm in Sport Plus right now. We have a bunch of different drive modes here. I can show you. We have Eco. You can see changes there on the gauge cluster, and Comfort, Normal, Sport S, and then we have Sport S Plus. So I'm not entirely sure why we have Sport S and Sport S Plus in a 6,000 pound luxury SUV, but that's what we get. We also have a head-up display up front that I'm not entirely sure if you can see, but it is in fact there. Now, some people might complain that this is just a 7-inch gauge cluster, but personally I think it works fine. I don't need a bigger gauge cluster than this. We do have all the temp gauges and the fuel gauge on the sides. The 4 gauges on the side are all analog, and I actually think that adds to the more luxurious feel to have a couple of analog features in this cluster, because I feel like it feels more expensive to have physical pieces. Same goes for these buttons and controls you have for the climate control here. Just not have everything be pixelated. I just think it adds to the more upscale feel, and I think we're actually going to go back to that eventually in interior car design, specifically when it comes to more luxurious brands. We have a 10-speed automatic transmission. You can pop it into manual by just switching this over to the left side, but I'm gonna keep it in automatic for now. You also have a bunch of different drive modes. So in addition to the drive, I'm not sure what to call this. These are also like drive modes or functions, I would say. You have some off-road function here, drive mode, which is just a normal one. You also have DAC crawl, which is hill descent control, or if you need to crawl over some really rugged terrains, you just click this button. It's also gonna raise up the entire car. You have the raise up suspension buttons located here in the middle. It actually goes up pretty high, and the cool thing is with this helper screen, you can actually see which level it's at by looking at this screen right here. So if I pull over right about here, I want to show you this. It's pretty cool because it goes up a lot higher than the standard ride height. You can see it blinking there. You can feel it going further and further up. Heated and cooled seats in 3 different levels. Fancy stuff. You also have that in the back seat, which is awesome. You'll have the heated steering wheel in 2 different settings, and this is nice too. You have a cool box here, so this is actually a small little fridge in the armrest. All right, with that said, let's get out on the main road here and see how this 6,000-pound vehicle handles on these twisty roads here. We do have a 10-speed automatic transmission. You can actually pop it into manual now. You can use these arrows here on the side to change whatever you have displayed in the center of the gauge cluster. I like to just keep it on something simple, maybe the audio settings or the navigation or something like that. So the Lexus claims 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds, and we're going a little bit uphill here, but we have no one behind us. I'm just gonna stop real quick and put it into first, and then we're gonna floor it. I didn't really get up to 60 there, but it feels, you can feel the weight of this car. It's such a heavy beast. But the good news about the body on frame construction is that it is so comfortable on, for example, if you go on a long road trip, specifically if you're lucky enough to claim that seat, the passenger seat behind the passenger seat in the front, then you can just lounge all the way down. But if you want to take it off-road, it's very capable off-road. Since we have the body on frame construction, we also have locking center differentials, and these tires are not the best off-road tires, but it's still very capable with this more comfortable setup of the tires, since we have a fantastic 4-wheel drive system in this car. But I have to say, it's definitely not one of these cars that you're gonna enjoy on some back roads like this. It doesn't really add to the driving experience to have it in manual mode, so I'm just gonna pop it back into automatic. So you're paying $130,000 for this car. I would expect to get some massaging front seats, but we don't get that in this case. You have it for the rear seats. Both rear seats get massage, but as a driver or as a chauffeur, you don't have the same luxuries as the people in the back, I guess. Even if this is definitely capable off-road, I feel like where this belongs or feel the most at home is going to be on the highways, just cruising long distances at 100 miles per hour on the Autobahn without any problems at all. Specifically, again, if you're sitting in the back seat. It's such a comfortable ride, but it's definitely not something that I would personally buy. I would go for, the thing about this, if you look at the wheelbase of this car, it looks very similar to the new beautiful looking Lexus GX, specifically in the Overland trim. And personally, I would go for that one because, first of all, I do think it looks a lot better than this, and second, I'm gonna save a lot of money buying that car. But if you're looking for a beast, it's pretty much a luxurious tank, then I guess the Lexus LX600 Ultra Luxury might be for you.